G'day. Last week when we were out filming we found this really cool place, so we drove past it but it wasn't open. It's called the Bus Stop Cafe in Black Mountain. It looks like lots of fun and we thought we'd take the girls out today because we need to get girls out and about. We've not spent enough time with them recently, so we thought we'd have some kind of, I guess, 2-on-2 time with them. No, it's not 1-on-1, is it?
Have this feeling, haven't felt for so long. Took a hold of me and won't let go. I've been sleeping, caught me off my guard. Cause you're in my space and now I'm so hold me towards you and I can.
Checking out this cafe, and oh my god, it's so cool. It's the front of someone's property. There's a bus that they put there that they've got the cafe area in, and you can actually sit there as well. There's some seating in the bus, and there's loads of really cute tables and seating areas at the front of the property.
Very boho.
Yeah, really like it, Ben. Really like it. Anywho, back to the video. We get a lot of questions from Brits because obviously we're Poms ourselves. And we thought we'd answer some of the most common questions today because there are some that we get asked a lot. Tell us what common question number 1 is.
Why did you move to the Sunshine Coast?
We didn't actually intentionally move to the Sunshine Coast.
That's the Sunshine Coast, yeah. Yeah, originally we was going to move to the Gold Coast, but due to work, we moved to Sunshine Coast.
Here we are. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Welcome. Enjoy.
Thank you.
And that's the only reason we moved here. But in saying that, I think that now, if we had the choice, which we obviously do, we would still choose the Sunshine Coast. You've got the same beautiful beaches, but they're a lot quieter, although the Gold Coast is still lovely, but it's less built up and it's less busy, so you're not stuck in traffic all the time. And we rather enjoy the sunny coast, as you might know.
We have mentioned it once or twice.
We have. Right, so common question number 2.
Where is the best place to move to? It's a very hard question to answer because everyone's needs are totally different.
If I said to you, what is the best suburb in Europe? You'd go, well, I don't know because I haven't been to everywhere in Europe and it's hard to say because everything suits different people. So that's the same with Australia. However, if you're looking to move, we can help you. We did one video, which I'll link, which was why we moved to Queensland. So it might give you some ideas on what you might think about when choosing a state. And then we've also got a video about choosing a suburb, which will help you narrow down once you've picked a state. But we can't tell you what is the best suburb in the whole of Australia. Ben, common question 3.
How did you make friends? I use this little app called Maz, and she just literally goes around and chats to everyone and anyone that will listen to her.
Not only do I chat to them, I invite them places. I invite them to our home. Ben usually doesn't know when we've got people coming over. They just turn up and I go, oh yeah, I invited them. Yeah. I get to know people at school, at work, just anyone pretty much.
With guys, it's a little bit harder, I always find. You just got to put yourself out there and sort of chat to people. It's probably going to be more work that you're probably going to meet people.
Well, next door neighbours, you just go and knock on their door. Ben, common question 4.
Well, the next one is the one that I probably think we get asked the most. It's about snakes and spiders. Can't say we see a lot of snakes. With snakes, if you do see them, just stand still, let them do their thing, and then just carry on doing what you're doing.
In all fairness, they're not really that interested in you. The only time that they'll do anything is if they feel threatened, which i.e. you've got too close and you've caused them a problem or stepped on them. So just look where you're going. Don't walk around on your phone. But a lot of people here have never even seen a snake.
Just don't go in the long grass.
Don't go in long grass, bushes, and you'll be fine. Just make sure you know what to do. Make sure you know that you need to stand still. Make sure your kids know that they need to stand still and just leave them alone.
Yeah, it's the same as all animals really, because they always say if you see a koala or something like that, leave them alone, let them do their own thing.
However cute they are, even kangaroos and whatever, you just don't really approach them. You just let them be and... Just
got to remember they're wild animals.
Spiders, people worry about, but again, not really an issue.
Yeah, when we first moved here, we used to look underneath the toilet lid and stuff like that because everyone tells you look in it. The
I
toilet.
still do.
Oh.
I can't get it out of my head.
I think it's more for the... what's the toilets that are outside in the old days?
Oh, the dunny, like the outdoor dunnies.
Yeah.
The next common question, Ben,
Do you pay for healthcare?
There is a public system, so sometimes you can go to the GP and get bulk billing. Can't always get that. It's not as easy to get hold of at the moment. I pay about $50 for a GP appointment because the GP that we've got, I absolutely adore her. The hospital visit that I had back in September or October, whenever it was, that was all on the public system. But we have previously paid for a non-emergency surgery. We've paid for it ourselves.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't want to wait. Depends on the situation. If it's an emergency, they'll do it on the public system quickly. Ben.
Just put marshmallow in my mouth.
Common question 6 for the man with the marshmallow in his mouth.
Do you miss friends and family? Yes, we do. If you keep yourself busy, you don't think about it as much, I find.
I think as well, to begin with, you don't really have time to miss people because you're so busy setting up a whole new life that you don't get that chance to really think about it. And by the time that you've got a bit more free time, you've kind of just gotten used to not seeing everybody. So it's just become the norm. So I wouldn't say, although we love our friends and family and we're on the phone to them constantly, I wouldn't say that we miss them as such because it's just become normal to us.
Moving with children, I don't think it's too hard really because obviously it depends on the age of the kids. Like when we brought Ella and Mia, they was only little. So they hadn't already made any bonds at school and stuff, had they?
Lily was 10 though. To be honest, our kids have been told to have the same adventurous spirit as us. So they just get on with it and they've had a great time.
Yeah.
I say they've had a great time and then someone comes over with a grumpy looking face. What's the grumpy looking face about?
Mia's cheating. we're playing tag.
So anyway, with regards to moving kids over, I'd say kids are adventurous and kids kind of take on your energy. So if you're kind of getting anxious and worried about it and you do that in front of your children, then they're going to have the same problems. Whereas if you're enthusiastic and go at them with your kind of adventurous attitude, then they'll be the same.
Yeah, children adapt very quickly and very easily.
And they're resilient.
Yeah.
I think as well, when people talk about moving with kids, they're worried about childcare, which actually is another common question that we get. So hang on, let's just head on to the next common question. With regards to moving with kids, absolutely fine, no problems whatsoever.
So number 8, what options are there for childcare?
It was like we knew what was coming. There's many different options and we get asked about this an awful lot. So for your preschool children, you've got the option of family daycare, which is like a childminder in someone's home and there will generally be less children. There's a daycare centre, which is a centre full of other children. You've also got the option to have an au pair, which is something we did to begin with because we worked outside of usual hours. So that was very handy. Or as long as you've got a spare bedroom, that's the main thing with having an au pair. Then when they're at school, there are after school care options. Some family daycare providers do it. And also some schools have an outside of school hours club, whatever it's called.
Something like that.
Before and after school club. And if they don't, then very often local daycare centres will have that option. There's plenty of childcare options.
So the next one we've got is what are schools like? Most of the time there's less kids in classes, isn't there?
Seems to be about, from our kids' classes, which is what we're kind of judging it by, seems to be about 25 kids in a class. The teaching style seems to be, not that they're friends with the children, but that there's a kind of a very mutual respect with the children. And it means that a lot of the kids who aren't particularly interested in learning will knuckle down a bit more because they've got that respect for their teachers.
Yeah, the teachers seem to work with the kids how the child needs to learn, more than just stick to a regimented sort of lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not one size fits all. I mean, obviously different teachers vary in their methods, but this is what we seem to have kind of noticed particularly.
Yeah, all the schools I've ever seen are always very clean and well presented as well. So.
Yeah, things do seem to be better maintained and they do seem to have great resources. Overall, we're really impressed with education here and we think that there are some massive benefits to the way that the teaching is done. The curriculum and all that kind of stuff is probably pretty similar, but the learning environment, I mean, it's not too bad in the sunshine. Do you know, one funny thing actually that I've seen quite a lot of Brits here say is that they don't really get the whole sitting on the floor at lunchtime thing. In most schools, they don't sit in a canteen or whatever and sit at tables to eat their lunch. They'll just go and sit on the floor outside and eat their packed lunch there. And I know a lot of Brits find that really peculiar, but it's just the way it's done, and it's like it's not going to cause any harm. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I was going to answer something and then I totally forgot because you...
It's hard when your wife talks so much, isn't it? Anywho, next common question, babe.
How do you handle the heat? Some days we can't handle the heat. That's why
Do you have to get out of the kitchen?
The best ways to handle it is, main ones is have air conditioning, have a swimming pool, or go for a drive where you've got the aircon in your car.
I think as well we need to explain that it's a little bit different where we live because of the humidity. So being in Queensland in the Sunshine Coast, it's not like being in Melbourne or Sydney. There's a real high humidity, and I think that's what makes it harder in the heat. So yeah, we do have our moments where we go, oh my gosh, I can't take any more of this. Just being honest, and you don't know this until you've lived somewhere for a number of years. It's not something that you can say, oh well, it's going to be really hot there, so I'm not sure if I can cope. You only really know once you do it.
And you climatise as well. Like my friend from Melbourne, he's just popped back to Melbourne because he lives up here now, and he actually said it felt cold in Melbourne in the summer because they don't have the humidity.
Going to give you a bit of a spoiler actually. We weren't really going to chat about this, were we, Ben?
I
But
don't know what we're chatting about because you just sprung it on me.
he knows, he does know about this. Because of the heat, we have been thinking that maybe in a few years' time, we will get a second property down somewhere south. So we're thinking maybe Adelaide, and that we would kind of flip between the two. So we'd probably go and spend the summer down there and where it's not so humid, and then back up here for the rest of the year. I think we're going to use it as an opportunity to travel around a bit as well, so that we would just have two bases and that we would kind of maybe get a caravan or something and travel around and get to see more of Australia.
Yeah, because we were speaking the other day and we've come to realise we haven't travelled as much as what we would have liked to.
While the kids are at school, we will have to commit to one area, but it's certainly something for the future. And also we've got heaps of things that we want to do on the property that we're at the moment, but it is in our heads that we don't want to be up in like the heat in Queensland, the humidity every summer for the rest of our lives. Anywho, hope you enjoyed the bus stop cafe with us. How are your hot chocolates? Good. My gosh, absolutely love that place. So, first of all, they've got 30 beehives, so I got some bus stop honey, loving it, and I just can't get over it. It's just the front of their property, and yeah, they've got all these beautiful seating areas. They've got chickens, they sell their own eggs. It's just acreage done right. If you enjoyed this video, take a look at that.